Listen up, man. You read the title, right? So let's get straight into it. Semen retention illuminates your inner genius. So let me say that again for the people in the back. Listen up, my guy. The practice of semen retention and the path of spiritual celibacy will illuminate your inner genius. And you might be wondering, okay, man, what the fuck does that even mean, my guy? Semen retention is going to illuminate my inner genius. Do I get better at math? Do I get better at physics? Do I become Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla? Well, relax. Relax, my guy. I'm going to need you to just take a deep breath because it's time for your boy to break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. So first things first, we must come to understand along this journey of using the practice of semen retention and using this path of spiritual celibacy as the tool it was intended to be to help you elevate mentally, physically, and spiritually, is that this energy that you're cultivating, this energy that you're transmuting, has the ability, again, to create another human being. A lot of people don't really let that marinate in their minds, don't really let that sink into their motherfucking psyches. Every time that you dispel, every time that you deplete yourself of this vital life force, you start to dumb down and dull your senses. The physical senses as well as your spiritual senses. Because this is the electricity for your entire system. This is the source of prana, life force, that courses throughout your body, that courses throughout your mind, that allows you to align back with the motherfucking divine. Come on, man, are you picking up what I'm putting down? When your mind and body are living in harmony, it becomes an antenna. You become an antenna for divine downloads, for psychic synchronicities, for higher level sources of knowledge, better yet, gnosis, aka divine knowledge that can't be found in the external world, that can't be found in books, that can't be found in podcasts, that can't be found in the material existence. This is a knowledge, again, gnosis, that is only uncovered from within when you align the mind and body back to the frequency of the divine. So this is why when you are practicing semen retention, when you are on this path of spiritual celibacy and doing it in the way it was intended to be, as a tool to help you elevate your mind, body, and soul, you start to tap into things that you could have never imagined before. You start to illuminate that inner genius. This is not some woo-woo, wah-wah bullshit that I'm just pulling out of my ass. This has been seen in some of the greatest minds of humankind. I'm talking about guys like Nikola Tesla, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, the great sages, the great saints, Steve Jobs. All of these different figures have used semen retention, have used the practice of celibacy to, again, align their mind and body to that frequency of the divine downloads. This is why you start to illuminate the inner genius, that spark that you've been depleting this entire time, that electricity that is needed to turn on your higher faculties is finally not dissipated, is finally not depleted, and now you are no longer disconnected from your divine essence, from your divine spark. So once that turns on, you start to get a myriad, a stream of divine consciousness flowing through your system that is going to help guide you to this gateway back to Godhood. What is this gateway back to Godhood? This is called your destiny. This is called your dharma, what you were really brought here to do beyond just satisfying the senses. Who you really are beyond just the brain and body. That is what is uncovered as you start to tap into this gnosis, which is only accessed by living in alignment to the higher self. You see, all these different spiritual traditions, cultures, religions, whatever you want to call them, philosophies of life, all aim at the same point, where mankind is no longer a slave to his senses because he overcomes the constricting confines that keeps his consciousness in his lower states. And that is done through living in alignment to that higher self. This is done through specific practices, specific techniques, specific principles that these traditions live by. Not just to say, hey man, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. No, it's not rules, it's not dogmas, it's not doctrines. It is a literal blueprint to help mankind ascend back to the divine, ascend towards their true purpose in life. Because if we didn't have these blueprints, if we didn't have these tools, what would we be doing right now? Take a look around you. All the degeneracy that you see, all the nonsense pursuits that most people are going for, especially men. This is happening right now in today's day and age because we are in the dark ages of Kali Yuga. This is a part of the yogic system, which is all about the cycles of time. We are living in Kali Yuga right now, the dark ages, which is essentially where consciousness is at an all-time low and carnality is at an all-time high. What does that mean? Carnality means that you are essentially an animal. You are living life solely based off your compulsive instincts. Survival, sex, status. Those are your lower three planes of consciousness. Those are your lower three chakras. They are not evil, they are not bad, but when they dictate your life, they become a suffocating chokehold on your spirit, on your soul, to the point where you cannot really understand, better yet, understand who you are beyond the brain and body. You identify yourself with everything in this material world. You identify your success with just getting survival, sex, and status. How many cars, clothes, money, and hoes do you have? But you were brought here for a much bigger reason, a much bigger purpose, a much bigger destiny and dharma. However, that is not uncovered, better yet, discovered, until you dissolve the karmas that are blocking you from that path. And when you practice semen retention and celibacy, this is one of the most powerful and most potent practices to help dissolve those karmas, dissolve the dead weight that is preventing you from being able to consciously elevate. Come on, man, are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? This is why when you start tapping into your higher faculties as a man, through this practice and through this path of self-mastery, you start to transform yourself into a person that cannot be recognized to most of the world. You start to go against the grain of the matrix, the Maya, the illusion, because the material world and the society that we are living in today, in Kali Yuga, in the dark ages, again, where consciousness is at an all-time low and carnality is at an all-time high, there are specific things and systems designed to keep you disconnected from the divine, such as pornography, such as junk food, such as mindless entertainment. All these things are specifically put in these positions so mankind never wakes up from this fucking dream of Maya, from this fucking dream of this illusion that all life is about is survival, sex, and status. Look, man, if you were a dog, if you were an animal, that would be totally fine. I got my dog with me right here. My dog, all it's got to do in this lifetime, in this incarnation, is survive, have sex, and achieve status. That's the dharma of the dog. If you think that's all you were brought here to do, you would have came here as a dog, because as much as you want to argue, God, the universe, do not make mistakes. You came here incarnated as a human being for a higher purpose. Yet you can never understand or discover that higher purpose if you are stuck in the depths of degeneracy. You will never be able to tap into your higher faculties, and you will never be able to illuminate your inner genius if you continue to remain stuck as a slave to your senses. Let that really marinate in your mind. Let that really sink into your psyche, motherfucker. Because this is not a game. This is not a joke. You were brought here for a bigger reason. And if you truly want to live a life that fulfills you from the inside and will eventually lead to your spirit's liberation, then you must start tapping into that illuminating force of your inner genius. There is a side of you There is a part of you that already knows exactly what you were brought here to do, that knows exactly the innovations, the creative pursuits, all the things that you are literally designed to do from birth. It has the entire blueprint, it has the entire manual set out for you. Right there in front of your fucking face. Yet you keep blocking it unconsciously or consciously from ever being able to express itself to its fullest extent. Because again, that electricity is being dissipated. That prana, that power, that vital force is being dissipated. This is why all these ancient teachings talk about how your sexual energy is your greatest asset as a man. It is your most powerful force of prana that you have access to inside your internal system. This energy that has the ability to create another fucking human being, it can create so many things that you simply cannot wrap your mind around until you start seeing it firsthand for yourself. Until you experience this firsthand for yourself. Again, all this stuff that we talk about here on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community, man, shout out to the fucking private Patreon community. Listen up, man, let's take a quick pause right now. If you are someone who is truly dedicated and devoted to tapping into your divine potential, I'm not talking about just your self-improvement potential. I'm not talking about just getting cars, money, clothes, and girls and all that shit. I'm talking about truly devoted to this path of self-mastery in order to discover your dharma, discover your divine duty, discover who and what you were always meant to be, and you have not joined up into the private Patreon community yet, man, look, go take a quick look in the mirror right now. Get a real good mental picture of the person that's staring right back at you in the mirror. I want you to really analyze the guy that's staring right into your eyes, that's staring right into your soul when you look into the mirror. Because you're doing him, not me, that motherfucker that's staring right back at you in the mirror, a huge disfavor if you're somebody that is a rare individual on this path towards self-realization. And you have not joined up into the private Patreon community. You're doing him, again, not me, a huge disfavor, because within there, man, we are truly uncovering and unpacking this esoteric science of self-mastery. I'm talking about exclusive videos, going in depth and in detail to all these different types of practices, different types of texts, different types of blueprints to help you ascend, help you master the mind, help you master the body in order to awaken your soul. I'm talking about videos that you ain't gonna find on this channel, on the main channel, matter of fact, anywhere else on the internet. Because it's some real deal game, real deal sauce to help you elevate on every motherfucking plane. You dig what I'm saying? And along with all those exclusive videos within the private Patreon community, you'll get access to our full guides, in-depth occult lectures, digital libraries, and most importantly, if you tap into the Philosopher's Circle, aka the highest membership tier group within the whole private Patreon community, you'll get an invitation to our private group chat where we host our bi-weekly mastermind live calls. Yes, sir, you heard me right. Bi-weekly mastermind live calls each and every single month, each and every single time that we tap in with each other. It is a great, great, great experience for all those men who are truly trying to ascend. 2 times a month, bi-weekly, each and every single time, man, you picking up what I'm putting down. So if you want to be surrounded with a community of like-minded men who are also on this path of self-mastery, hop on calls with me, as well as that community that is trying to help you elevate and eventually wants to see you liberate. You want to be around people like that, men who are like you, rare individuals who are also practicing this whole journey of self-mastery, trying to illuminate that inner genius. I'm telling you, man, the Philosopher's Circle is the place for you. I can assure you that, man. I can assure you that 100% guarantee. But if you need some more information about the Philosopher's Circle or the whole private Patreon community as a whole, check out the link posted in the pinned comment of this video. Because not only will you find the link to the private Patreon community in there, but also links to the other services I provide, such as application forms for my personalized coaching program. If you're somebody who's trying to work with me personally, one-on-one, to help you disintegrate, dissolve, and overall detox from all the degeneracy that is holding you back, that is acting as dead weight, preventing you from being able to elevate mentally, physically, and spiritually, then tap in with the application form. We'll see if your criteria meets the qualifications for what we got in the coaching program, because again, this coaching program is all about dissolving your karmas in order to discover your dharma, figuring out who and what you are beyond the brain and body, what it is you were really brought here to do by first detoxing from all the degeneracy, all the blocks, whether they be mental blocks, physical blocks, spiritual blocks, it does not matter. We're going to clean all that up to systemize a solution to get you back on the right track towards self-realization. If you just want to book a one-time consultation call with me there, call with me. There's another link for that, man. We can discuss anything that you're dealing with in order to systemize a solution to get you back on the right path towards discovering your dharma and actually tapping into your divine potential as a man. Again, man, posted all in the pinned comment of this video. Make sure you go run it up. But, ooh, man, fucking fly just went in my ear. Like I was saying, all the stuff that we're talking about on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community, especially on the private Patreon community, especially within my coaching program, is all about giving you the tools, the tips, the techniques to slice through all the BS that will allow you to finally illuminate that inner genius. Because once you illuminate that inner genius, man, I'm telling you, you are going to be living a life that is aligned with what you were brought here to do. You're no longer going to be searching for external pleasures to give you some sort of feeling in life. You're going to be living a life where even through the ups and downs, you're going to be truly embracing the present moment, because this is what you were designed to do. This is what you were made to do. This is what you were built to become. You have an inner genius within you. Stop looking up to these guys like Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, all these people. They were brought here for a specific reason, and they tapped into it. They tapped into it because they've mastered the self. Leonardo da Vinci, all these guys. Matter of fact, we got a full video on the private Patreon community discussing all these different types of figures, talking about semen retention and the art of psychic reproduction, aka taking that same energy that is used to reproduce human beings, redirecting it, recultivating it to tap in to our higher faculties in order to reproduce psychically, which is through ideas, innovations, businesses, music, art, all that stuff, man. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? These great artists, these great musicians, these great innovators and minds that have lived throughout humankind, throughout our history, you can literally see all the quotes that they said about the practice of semen retention and celibacy. They used the same things that we are trying to be able to tap into as men on this path of self-mastery. So if it worked for them, why the fuck ain't it gonna work for you? Why the fuck is it not going to work for you? Let that marinate in your mind. Let that sink into your psyche. You have so much potential within you. So much divine potential. What do I mean by divine potential? I'm talking about potential that is literally embedded into your DNA. God has created you in this way. All you need to do is just hit the button, press it to turn on. Press it like you're fucking playing Xbox. Press it like you're playing the fucking PlayStation. However, the electricity that you need to actually plug in that console and turn it on to play the game is being dissipated. You are not actually plugging yourself in to that source of energy, that source of vitality, that source of mental clarity, that source of spiritual connection, which is cultivated through this path of self-mastery. Again, semen retention celibacy isn't self-mastery as a whole. It is just a piece to the puzzle, a very important piece to the puzzle as a man. But there's so many different layers to it, so many different aspects to it. However, this is one of the most potent ways to tap into that prana, tap into that electricity, and tap back into that power that you have been dissipating your entire life as a man. Think about that. You are literally operating on 30-40% of your potential as a man if you're constantly stuck as a slave to your senses, if you're constantly stuck of only thinking about survival, sex, and status. That's all you are thinking about. That's all where your consciousness is rooted at. That is where all your energy is going to be pulled towards. Where attention goes, energy flows. If you're thinking about survival, sex, and status, your energy is going to be flowed towards there. However, if you're thinking about divinity, intuition, innovations, all these different higher level aspects that you have access to tap into, guess where your energy is going to go? Come on, man. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. Put two and two together. This is simple, basic math. When you start to elevate your consciousness, your energy directly follows with it. This is a correlation that cannot be broken. And the same thing happens inversely. The more that your consciousness de-evolves and de-elevates and is rooted in the lower level pleasures, the lower level states of consciousness, due to all the degeneracy, due to all the tricks and traps the Maya, the illusion, the material world has put right in front of us in order to distract us and degenerate us from the inside out, in order to disconnect us from that divine spark, guess where your energy is going to go? Down into those lower level centers. So it's no wonder why all you're thinking about is those lower level pleasures, those lower level pursuits. However, when you finally stop dissipating that, because you actually start tapping into this type of knowledge, this type of gnosis, and applying it firsthand for yourself, you'll see exactly what I'm saying. You'll see exactly what I'm saying. This is not just a facade. This is not just some random thing that these guys were all talking about that I'm just pulling out of my ass again. This is real deal information that has been held and kept secret from the true men on this path of self-mastery, because society wants you to make it seem like, oh man, celibacy, semen retention, that sounds stupid, that sounds gay, that sounds this and that. So you never live a life that is aligned to your divine purpose. Why? Because they can profit, they can milk you dry if you are still stuck to finding happiness and joy in external desires. Because there's a great quote from the great sage Paramahansa Yogananda, the guy that wrote the autobiography of a yogi, and he states, always fed, never satisfied. Never fed, always satisfied. The more that you feed into your sensual pleasures, the animalistic instincts, the less satisfied you become in life. Why? Because you need more and more and more and more. This is the hamster wheel of desires. You're going round and round and round and round. It's never gonna stop. It's a bottomless pit. You can eat as much as you want, but your stomach will never be satisfied. It may be stimulated for a couple of seconds, but it'll never be satisfied. Let that sink into your mind. The more that you are living a life of being a slave to your senses, the more that yourself as a whole being will be less satisfied. Because you can stimulate the senses for a couple of seconds, but you can never truly satisfy the soul, the spirit, with those pursuits. Your soul doesn't care about how much money, cars, clothes, and hoes you got. And I'm not saying don't get money. I'm not saying don't get nice cars, clothes. I'm not saying don't get a nice wife. I'm not saying any of that. But when you make that your end-all, be-all in life, like all these fucking alpha pill, red pill guys tell you, you're gonna be living a life where you're just constantly going from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing, never actually truly revealing and uncovering what it is that's going to give you the most ecstasy in life, spiritual ecstasy in life, that is going to allow you to drink from the cup of divine nectar and allow you to live in a state of inner bliss even through all the ups and downs. These are why the yogis, the sages, can live in caves naked, meditating. I'm not saying go and do that. That was their dharma, that was their destiny, but they're living in caves, meditating with nothing. And they're more blissful than the billionaire who's got all the cars, money, clothes, and hoes. However, self-deletes himself. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? This material world is not evil, it's not bad, but when you make it your God, when you make it your entire existence, you'll never find true fulfillment in it. You'll never find true spiritual ecstasy within it. And this is what your soul yearns for. It yearns for living in alignment and union with the divine, aka yoga. I'm not talking about stretching your yoga pants. I'm talking about living in alignment where you are yoking yourself to your higher self. And that is allowing you to ascend back to divinity, where your mind, body, and soul, the Holy Trinity, are working together in perfect harmony. You don't want your mind and body, your brain and body, to be your soul's worst enemy. You want it to be your soul's greatest ally. There's a great quote from Osho that I always bring up. he states the mind can either be a beautiful servant or a horrible master. And we can take that up to another level. The body and brain can either be a beautiful servant of the soul or a horrible master of the spirit. Which one do you want? Do you want your dick to control your life? Do you want your lust to dictate your decisions? Do you want your pursuit of these lower level pleasures to essentially propagate whatever it is that you're doing? Wake up. Wake up. You are not here just to be a fucking animal. If that was the case, you would have came here as an animal. You have an inner genius that can illuminate if you finally put the practices and the pieces to the puzzle in place. Semen retention and celibacy being one of the most powerful components of it all. Look, that inner genius is always there. It's always been there. Just like the sun is always there, even if it's cloudy, even if it's rainy, even if it's snowing. It might not look like the sun is there, but it's still there underneath all the clouds, all the rain, all the snow. That is the inner genius. That is your true self. That is where your dharma, your destiny resides. Stop looking externally for these things to give you a pinpoint direction of where you need to go in life. Again, all the stuff that we talk about on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community within my personalized coaching program is about giving you the tools to clear up those clouds, aka clear up the karmas. Because once you clear up the karmas, you will discover your dharma. A lot of us as men, let's be totally honest, have a bunch of sexual karma. We are tied. We are put in bondage as slaves to sex, as slaves to these lower level pursuits. In the matrix, the Maya, the illusion, that is the whole system, aka society, designed to disconnect you and keep those clouds up and covering up your actual dharma, your true self. It knows that. It knows that you're a slave to sex. It knows that is your weak point. So what do they give you? Pornography. What do they give you? Promiscuity. What do they overall propagate and push on us as men? That the more girls that we get, the better alpha people that we become. What the fuck is that, man? Wake up. Wake up. Do you want to be a degenerate alpha man, or do you want to be the true divine masculine man? You are not here to be a degenerate alpha man, bro. I'm sorry to tell you. If you're still praising Andrew Tate and this and that, man, wake the fuck up, smell the goddamn motherfucking coffee. That dude's a loser. And he's just being a pawn on the chessboard in order to propagate and promote this fucking lifestyle of degeneracy that is cooking more and more men by the day. What we need to understand, better yet understand, is going back to the blueprints of the ancient wisdom, the esoteric knowledge of the past that gives us the blueprint, the system, the manual, the roadmap back to self-realization through the path of self-mastery. Self-mastery is the prerequisite to realize the self, aka understand who and what you are beyond the brain and body, and realize your dharma, your destiny, what you were really brought here to do, instead of just satisfying the senses. You think these alpha men are going to understand that? No. The inner geniuses, the real Renaissance men, Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, these people, these great minds, these great sages, these great saints who walked on earth and left clues, left blueprints, left roadmaps. For us in the modern day to tap back into those states, we need to listen to them. And this whole channel, this whole brand, all this stuff, again, that we talk about here on the Philosopher channel, on the private Patreon community, within my personalized coaching program, is all about reviving that ancient wisdom. Because they give you the blueprint on how to ascend, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I'm just here to break it down and make it more practical for the modern man to apply it into his life in today's day and age. And what I'm telling you right now, that I felt firsthand for myself, and many, many, many people can attest to. If you can attest to it, comment down below. When you practice semen retention, not for the aura, not for the female attraction, not for all that shit that you see all these mainstream YouTubers and all that stuff talk about when it comes to this practice, when you actually use it for the real reason it was intended to be, you will illuminate that side of you that's been waiting to shine. You will illuminate that sun that resides within you. Because as you practice semen retention, as you cultivate the energy and redirect it back up from the reproductive organs up to your higher faculties, you will start to burn off those karmas. You're no longer a slave to sex. You're no longer a slave to your senses. This is why many of these sages say, if you can overcome hunger and lust, nothing else can stop you. These are like basically playing a video game on the highest level. Every other addiction, every other bond, every other attachment that you have becomes that much easier to break when you practice semen retention, celibacy, and do things like fasting, meditation, yoga, all the things, again, that we talk about here on this channel, main channel, private Patreon community, and the coaching program. These are all tools, tips, and techniques to essentially slash and break all the chains, the karmic chains that keeps your consciousness rooted to those states of carnality. Once you break free from them, and if you break the strongest chains, the weak links, oh man, that's easy. The strongest chains that you probably got right now, let's just be honest, that I got right now, that every man has got right now, is that sexual tie. That's why literally, metaphorically speaking, the matrix, the mind, the illusion has got you by the motherfucking balls. It's draining your balls, and it's fucking making your whole life dictated by your balls. You ascend beyond that, man, you will no longer look at these types of things, sexual pursuits, as necessary cravings, as compulsive habits. There's nothing wrong with sex. However, if your whole life is dictated towards that, who are you truly becoming? An animal. Even animals, funny enough, have times in their overall mating seasons where they don't engage in sex. And they're doing it for procreation. But what do humans do? Abuse our free will that we've been gifted to by God in order to just satisfy the senses. We're worse than animals. But we also have the potential to ascend from the angelic kingdom, the animal kingdom, up to the angelic kingdom, my bad. You have that potential. And that is done through the path of self-mastery. And semen retention celibacy is a key, crucial component to it. Do you want to live a life where you leave an impact and dent in the world that is felt for ages and ages and ages, not out of your ego, but because that was what you were meant to do through your music, through your art, through your innovations, through your business, whatever it is? Do you want to do that? Or do you just want to dissolve into dust and sit on your deathbed thinking, oh man, I just lived my life as a fucking slave to my senses. I didn't really accomplish anything that my soul is satisfied with. And that attachment, that shame, that guilt, that remains. Your consciousness is eternal. The flesh, the brain, the body, that's what's temporary. So when that dissolves, your consciousness still keeps that shame, still keeps that guilt. And it's going to look for a way to escape. It's going to look for a way to actually work it out. That is why you go into another cycle of reincarnation, another cycle of samsara, if you do not actually punch in your one-way ticket back to the divine, which is your dharma. Come on now, man. What more else do I gotta say? This practice of semen retention and this path of spiritual celibacy goes far deeper than you might think. The surface level with all the benefits and this and that, that's cool. But if you're watching this channel, and I always say this to people that are watching this channel, in specific, the second channel, What the Floody, we're out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping you out that game so you guys can make these gains. You dig what the fuck I'm saying? No cuts, no edits, just straight up speaking off the dome. You guys are more spiritually and psychologically matured than the masses. Am I saying that you're better than anyone? Absolutely not. Am I saying that you're a chosen one because you're watching this channel? Absolutely not. But what I am saying is, if you're able to watch a video for this fucking long, first of all, you're probably in the 1 percentile of the population. There's no cuts, no edits, and you're still here listening to this. That's a huge, huge, huge accomplishment in today's day and age where everybody's got brain rot. But aside from that, if you're able to watch a video for this long for this types of topics, these dense, detailed topics that will fly over most people's heads, that is a clear indication and clear sign that you are ready for this pathway back to the divine. Come on, man, that's a bar. Write it down. Maybe it was due to the past lives that you have where you dissolve some of the karmas to set you up for this lifetime where you have the gifts, the talents, the abilities to grasp these higher level concepts. Maybe it's due to this lifetime. Who knows? Who knows? But now you have the ability to understand, better yet, understand these higher level topics about self-mastery, about this road to self-realization, about this journey towards spiritual liberation. You cannot waste these gifts given to you by God. You cannot waste this incarnation on degeneration. You cannot waste this incarnation on degeneration. Because you can have all the knowledge, you can listen to all these types of topics on this channel. But until you turn that knowledge, which is up in the mind, into gnosis, which resides in the heart, and that transition is done through first-hand experience by applying the knowledge, then this stuff is just theories, and what you're doing is something that within the self-improvement culture and the self-improvement sphere is called mental masturbation, aka when you watch a bunch of videos, read a bunch of self-help books, yet don't actually take action and apply the wisdom within those pieces of content. You're doing that, but on a much higher level. You are a spiritual masturbator, man. You can read all the ancient texts, you can tap into all these videos, you can do all that stuff, but until you apply this wisdom into your day-to-day life, until you're ready to take that leap of faith, until you're ready to sacrifice, to actually walk this path back to the divine, these are just all theories. It might sound cool. You might be thinking, oh man, dude, this dude is right. I don't want to be a slave to my senses. I want to illuminate that inner genius. I want to actually live a life that is alignment to my dharma. It might sound cool, but you might click off this video and just go back to your day-to-day existence where nothing fucking changes. You need to apply this now. Stop wasting time. Memento mori, remember you will die. You don't know if it's today, tomorrow, whatever. You don't want to live, you don't want to die on that deathbed thinking about, damn man, I fucking wasted all this time. You want to ensure that this incarnation is actually lived out for your liberation. Liberation of the soul. It is only done through realizing the self. And realizing the self is only done through mastering the self. 1, 2, 3. Master the self, realize the self, liberate the spirit. Sounds simple, but it ain't easy. And especially when it comes to this journey of celibacy and semen retention. Definitely not easy. But look, if you haven't tapped into the Art of Retention ebook yet, I'm telling you, look, if you haven't tapped into that, you haven't tapped into the private Patreon community, you haven't tapped into the personalized coaching program, you are fucking missing out on everything. I don't know what the fuck you're doing with your life, bro. I generally don't know what the fuck you're doing with your life. Because if you tap into the full in-depth details and teachings and techniques and tips when it comes to this practice of semen retention and using it as a tool to elevate your mind, body, and soul that can be found within the Art of Retention ebook, if you haven't done that yet, man, you are truly going to be spinning your wheels around over and over and over and over again, wondering, okay, man, this guy talks about semen retention celibacy so much as a powerful practice, yet I don't see any benefits, I don't see any results, because you're not doing it right, probably, bro. There is a way to go about it. You can't just retain your seed and just hope things just happen. No, there's a way. There's a practice. There's a method. There is a method to this madness. And that can all be found within the Art of Retention ebook. Totally free too. Totally free for the free 99. If you haven't tapped into that yet, just go on the YouTube search bar right now and type in how to succeed on semen retention. You will find the full video guide on the main channel, aka The Philosopher. Watch the full video. Get up on some game to help elevate on every motherfucking plane. And within that video, you'll find a link to actually tap into the Art of Retention ebook, which goes even more in depth and even more in detail than the video itself. So you got the video, you got the book, and look, man, if you cannot read, you got ADHD, you dyslexic, you retarded for some reason, your boys got you covered with a full audio series of the Art of Retention ebook, again, on the main channel, The Philosopher. Just go on that channel, go on the playlist, and you'll find the audio series of the Art of Retention ebook. So you can pop it in while you're driving, while you're walking, while you're working, whatever it is, and actually start to soak up the knowledge that you must apply. Again, this is not just giving you the knowledge and you just sit there and it just happens for you. You must apply. But once you have the real systems, the real blueprints, the real practices to help you along this journey, this path of self-mastery, there is no excuses. And if you need any further help, guidance, and assistance along this journey towards dissolving your karmas and discovering your dharma, like I said before, man, check out the links posted in the pinned comment of this video. Tap in with the Philosopher's Circle. Hop into our next Mastermind Live call. Be a part of the group chat. Be around people who are also striving for this same pursuit. Having a community around you is priceless, man. And having all the value, the knowledge, the wisdom, the game that goes even more in depth that you can even imagine out there in the private Patreon community, bro, you are set. And if you want to take it up to another level and tap in with the personalized coaching program, shoot an application form and we'll see if your criteria meets the qualifications to help me, help you dissolve those karmas, discover that dharma, and illuminate your inner genius by detoxing all the degenerate habits that are blocking your mind, body, and soul from its peak potential. You can book a one-on-one consultation call and we'll discuss all these things, man. Whatever it is, all the things are laid out right in front of you for you to succeed on this path and actually realize that inner genius that will illuminate in your own internal being once you finally turn on that electricity. So really just let that marinate in your mind. Let that sink into your psyche. You got no excuse. It's time to produce, motherfucker. It's time to produce. But with that said, man, let's just end it off right there. It's been your boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these games, and I'm out of here. Peace.